Alright, YouTube. We're here with the Cirrus SR22T made by Horizon Hobby under the E-flite brand, 1.5 meter wingspan, and we were doing a setup video and the camera decided to freak out on me, so my apologies. DX18 DSM-X transmitter, DSM-2 transmitter, Gen 1. And what we were in the process of doing is just setting up the receiver, or excuse me, the transmitter rather. And so I'll just start over real quick and show you what we did. This is the manual. You'll basically flip in here and you'll see the CG's marked. So we'll find that real quick when we're ready. I'm not really worried about these numbers. I don't care how much deflection it is according to the manual. Some people really get into that. That's fine if you do. I don't. Okay, so I made a new model. So I scrolled down, did system setup, yes. Model select, I scrolled down to the bottom and I clicked add new. It added this model. Of course, I went into the model name. I scrolled in, changed the name from Acro, which is the default model name, to this. Verifying that it's a model type is plain. You want to verify it before you name it because it'll clear out your name if you do it otherwise. And then we picked wing type of one aileron and one flap. And guys, this is all right here on page 4 in the manual. Shows the setup for DX18 right here. Some of it we deviate from, most of it's correct. Then we restart. We got everything set. We set the timer to 4. So what we did was we scrolled down to throttle cut. That was the first thing we set. Set to H. So you would just highlight this. You would flip the switch if you've got a, programmable. And then you'll just validate that it's working the way you want. So throttle's up, it's not moving. Throttle cut's not on, and it works. Throttle cut's back on, and it moves the throttle down no matter what position the stick's in. Okay, good. Then we want to set the timer. Timer set to 4 minutes per the instructions here, 4 minutes. We'll see how that works with a 2200 milliamp 3S 60C pack from Turnigy. Heavy duty, also known as Hobby King, with the XT60, which is why we did an XT60 mod video earlier. Also added a piece of tape to the canopy. These things come off really easy. This is magnetically attached, simple. This actually has a couple of little keys, plastic, that slide into some slots here. So when you go to slide that off, you just kind of have to get it aligned, and then it slips right in. But to pull it out, it's a little bit tricky. You just reach in there and pull it straight forward as you pull up. And of course, this comes out super easy either way, but it's especially easy when you got the hood off. So we're just laying those off to the side, and we're basically back to where we are. Timer set to 4 minutes. One out, one time is active, and tone and vibrate, so that when we move the stick, it will start the timer. Beyond 25%, and it'll keep it running. We'll clear that. See, watch. Starts the timer. You can also see up here it says 2. 25. Starts it. Starts counting down. Clear it. Okay. All right. Throttle cut's on. Sticks down. Sticks are held still. All the flap conditions are true to what we want it to be for fail-safe. We're about to bind. There's a page that outlines how to bind with safe select and without safe select. We're going to be doing it with safe select on, not ignoring it, okay? The big difference is this. To turn it on, you plug in the bind plug, you plug in your battery, and then you pull out the bind plug before you actually do your binding. To turn this off, or to leave it so it's just AS3X and you can't even turn the safe on, which is sort of stupid. You're going to still have the receiver doing all this stuff in the background. Then you basically plug it in to your bind plug, which is right here, guys. I've already slid that in. I had to use a screwdriver to get it in because it's kind of in a tight spot next to this bulkhead here. So anyway, without further ado, let's do this. Radio's off. You can actually leave the programmable radios on. There's mechanisms where you can go into a bind screen. I'm just going to do it the more conventional way. Okay, so the bind plug's plugged in, so this is how you do it. You plug in your battery first, wait for that thing to start flickering, just like it is right now. Then you can go ahead and unplug the bind plug. While turning this on, you're going to hold your bind plug. Okay, and here it goes, binding. DSMX 22 milliseconds telemetry. You can let go at this point. Okay. Okay, so it's going through the startup sequence. Okay, it looks like the rudder's working. Elevator would be working, except it's not hooked up. Then throttle cut is off. Cool. Okay, so everything's working. Throttle cut is working. So what we're going to do now is we're going to press clear on the timer, so you don't want to lose our time. Let's go ahead and reboot. I always reboot after I get my programming done. Okay, this is off. We have not assigned safe select yet, okay? We're going to do that here now, though. So the first thing you do to set that is you bind it the way you're supposed to. So we got the bind plug out. We'll just lay this over here. We'll put that away in a minute. Now we have to make an assignment of an available channel. That's important, guys. You have to have an available channel. So let's go in here and make our channel. I want our channel tied to this. But remember, we have throttle, rudder, elevator, aileron, flap. There's no landing gear. So technically the 6th channel would be available for safe if you wanted to. There's also a 7th channel hiding, even though this is a 6-channel receiver. So I'm going to go into that. I'm going to go system setup, yes. Then I'm going to go into channel assign, and you can see how it says there's 6. So throttle, aileron, elevator, rudder, gear's not used. Flaps is used, but I'm going to go to auxiliary 2. Okay, we'll leave it auxiliary 2, then we'll just go over to auxiliary 2 and we'll make an assignment to switch D. That's all I want. We can switch the condition once we have this program, and it doesn't matter. You have to use the whole throw. You can't just use half like this. It won't recognize it. And so what you do is you have to do it like 3 times up and down. Where is that portion? Safe, select, switch designation. So mode 1 and mode 2. Pull your sticks in, and then you move the stick up and down. How many times? You have to do it 5 times. Okay. Safe select is assignable on any unused channels 5 through 9. Okay, so we're using channel 7. Okay, channel 7 meaning 6 was flaps, 5 was gear unused, and then 7 would be auxiliary 2, which is now assigned to this. So we're going to move over to our monitor. Verify auxiliary 2 is working. Okay, now we're going to plug this in. Throttle cuts on. Plugging it in. Listening. Letting it initiate as usual. Everything goes normal. Okay, it's ready to rock. Everything's working. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, done. So, safe is, I believe, currently on. It's kind of hard to tell without ailerons, but look, here's how you can also tell. Yeah, you don't want to do that. I just want to see. Okay, so safe is on now. Here's how you can tell. It's going to try to level the plane using the yaw axis. You can just hear it. And if the ailerons are on, of course, you could see it. So safe is on here. I don't like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into servo setup. I'm going to go to reverse, and I'm going to go to aux 2, switch it. Boom. Okay, so safe is now on. See? That's how you can do that. Now safe is off. Okay? So just be AS3X. So we're going to initiate the throttle cut as off, giving it some throttle. Now AS3X is working. You can hear it. But safe is not. So with safe on, now safe is working. Now what's the difference between safe and AS3X? AS3X is 3-axis gyros. Okay? And in my case, I'm actually going to switch that travel back. I had it right the first way. Because I want safe to be on only when I go out of my way. Because normally I don't fly with safe. I'll show it to you. Don't worry. I'll demonstrate it for you guys. Okay, throttle cuts back on. Going to unplug this. So now that we have all the binding and all the setup done, we can actually lay the battery aside for now. And that's pretty much the setup. We also needed to set up the flaps, so I'll show you that where it is in the manual. And then you can look at how I set it up. Flap system, I used switch B. So I basically, I'll inhibit this, okay? Flap system, inhibit, okay? This is the way you do it. You go highlight it, switch the switch you want. They say use D, I use D for safe, so never mind what they say. Okay, so switch B, you've acknowledged it, then you scroll in the values that they recommend here, which is position 0, position 1, position 3, or 2. So it's 100, 0, and then minus 100, which means you use the whole throw of the servo. And then the elevator correction's over here. Speed is 2 seconds, meaning it takes 2 seconds from full deployment to full retraction, from minus 100 to plus 100. Okay, so if you only went from like 50 to minus 50, then even though you tell it to take 2 seconds, it's going to take 1 second for that throw because you're using up half of the total throw. In case you ever sat there and played with it. A lot of this stuff is guess and check. Okay, one other thing they didn't tell us to set up, they said, don't worry about expo. I always set up expo, differential. This dual rate's an expo. So the first thing I do is I go in and I set everything to one switch. Why do you do that? Brian, why don't you use 3 different switches? Well, because I want quick, ready access to turn it on and off on my maiden. Really, expo for me, I fiddle with it and I run it in the middle mode. I always run it in the middle mode. Whatever the middle is what it is, okay? In my case, middle is going to be 15 now. The low is going to be 7 and the high is going to be 30, okay? Why those values? It's approximately a linear change from very little to more, okay? Now at the top end, I usually cut back the output to like 90. A lot of guys like a lot less rates on low rates. I don't. Elevator. Okay, we'll do 5, then we'll do 10, and we'll do 20. Whoops. And on the top setting, we'll drop this back to 90. Okay, so remember, all this is to get me back on the ground. Once we're on the ground, we'll get it set up so it's configured properly for the second flight. This is how you make your maidens successful. That and having more skill and practice. Okay, so 10, 20. Ah, dang it. Well, I'm going to set this back to 90 anyway. This one's going to be 30. Okay. Very good. So that's set and it's done. All right, guys. So our model is set up, electrically speaking. Now it's just a matter of assembling it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and stop the video. We're going to get this setup video posted. We may have some tweaks on the build video, but this will be the radio setup video. And we'll give you a quick review of that at the end of the build video again. But thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And we are going to be putting this online. Next video is going to be the build video. It should be posted tonight if all goes as planned. Flight video tomorrow. Cross your fingers.